protesters are marching in the middle of the street down Main Street.
And me being a black woman, have a young black son, I'm out here and I'm pregnant now because, I am so sick and tired of looking at that on TV.
That tear gas is strong, Chris. It is affecting both myself and our photographer. And so we're moving into a doorway to try and get out of the way of that gas there, but you could see it. The wind has changed and now is bringing it up Main Street, causing people to run away. It caused burning in the eyes, in the nose, in the mouth. So when you couldn't breathe out of your nose, if you sucked air into your mouth, it burned.
I'm tired of people dying, and I'm tired of having to come out here and protest for the people I love and care about.
And Laura, overwhelming to hear that emotion in that young girl's voice tonight. A large crowd of people out here, all upset and coming together to have their voices heard. And again, police told us earlier tonight that there have been no arrests so far, no violent incidents.
Right now, election deputies are putting together absentee and mail-in ballots to be sent out in the mail. Absentee ballots can be returned by mail or in person, but mail-in ballots must be returned via the U.S. Postal Service. When they return to the election office, they are stored in a secure ballot box until it's time to be counted for Election Day.
Using this data, the city can focus its efforts on high-risk areas. Officer Bachman explains it like making a playground less attractive.
The district is bringing back its youngest students and critical needs groups first. The other grades will return in phases, with students split into groups on site on different days. Angelo and his family moved to the neighborhood just last week. This is their first weekend in the new home. Separated by the sinkhole, I asked him to call me so we could talk.
We're good. They're okay. I think it's exciting.
From here, you can see water creeping onto the road, but to really get an understanding of the flooding, you have to see it from the sky.
We're about to cross over 111 highway.
In his first day in office, President Biden issued a 100-day pause on deportations, but a federal judge blocked that directive. During that time, an Olathe man was detained and deported, separated from his wife and 6 children. KMBC 9's Bianca Beltrán shares his story, falling through the cracks of an immigration system that's in transition.
Because he was always funny and silly.
It's the little moments that come to mind when Jonathan thinks of his dad, playing together, learning how to drive, greeting him when he came home from work.
My little siblings would jump on the couches and look out the window and get excited. And they'd wait on the wall next to the door and then try to scare him.
Jose Abundio Gomez Hernandez didn't make it home January 22nd. A sheriff's deputy stopped him in Overland Park for speeding, then called Immigration and Customs Enforcement to pick him up. ICE had a warrant for his arrest. No criminal record, an ICE spokesperson said years ago he voluntarily returned to Mexico, but came back to the United States multiple times and lost his appeal to an order of removal. We spoke to his wife and their oldest son at their church. At the time, Jose was in a Missouri jail held for deportation, and they were praying for help. Maria says she was hopeful that the new administration would fulfill its promises, only deporting criminals and not separating families.
Without him, there's just that missing spot in our family, and we really need him back.
In Olathe, Kansas, Bianca Beltrán, KMBC 9 News. Take a closer look at this image. Behind the man carrying a Confederate flag in the U.S. Capitol is a portrait of Senator Charles Sumner, an abolitionist beaten in the Capitol for speaking out against slavery.
In the school that bears Sumner's name, teachers and students are talking about the lessons to be drawn from this moment.
He was one who was not looked upon very wisely from some of the people in his party because he was so radical in the whole idea that we do not need slavery. And so we need to make sure students understand that history and understand, okay, now we see what happened last Wednesday. What can you do to fix what's going on right now in America?
For us to have a picture of a Confederate flag in front of the work that he did, literally risking his life to stand up for what he believed in. I think that's a lot for us to say, if he could have done it then we can definitely still do it now.
Jakayla says students have questions.
Just be honest with them, not to sugarcoat anything, because as long as we're still running away from the solution or acting like the problem isn't there, nothing will be done, nothing will be changed. And it's up to us to change something.
Bianca Beltrán, KMBC 9 News.
Come on in, bro.
Change can be painful. For Daryl, it's a lifetime of learning and 7 hours under a needle.
Alrighty, let's see what we got going on here real quick.
To cover up these white supremacist tattoos he got in prison at 17.
I was around like 2 black people my entire life growing up until I went to prison. And then I was just told to hate, man. You know what I mean? Like, they're not your... And I was naive.
Alrighty, you're gonna feel a little poke.
He said it was about survival. Now he's out, raising a daughter he hopes will learn from his mistakes.
I'm not trying to ever do the same thing I was doing, getting in trouble, hating people for no reason.
Tattoo artist John Harvey is offering to cover up hateful tattoos for free because he believes people can change.
Any adult that's over 30, they could look back at their life and be like, yeah, I'm not the same person I was when I was 16.
Daryl says he chose the character Venom because he gets his power from the people around him.
You don't change your ways and you don't change the people around you and stuff whenever you're living that lifestyle. It's not ever going to get better, so that's what this tattoos get. It's going to change me for the better.
In Belton, Missouri, Bianca Beltrán, KMBC 9 News.
Hello. I'll turn the light on over your bed, okay? Yeah. Turn up the volume a little bit so you can hear her.
How do you thank a stranger who saved your life?
Hello. Hi. Nice to meet you.
During a pandemic?
Hi, you too.
Through a computer screen.
Thank you so much for everything.
Ashley O'Neill's life changed on her 30th birthday when she found out she needed a new kidney to survive.
Basically, the only symptom I had was being puffy in the ankles, being a little swollen.
Within a year, she was on dialysis. Her father, Stan, offered one of his kidneys.
She's my daughter. I mean, I would give my left arm if I had to.
His blood type matched, but because of his age, doctors recommended finding another donor.
I was kind of expecting a long haul of this is just going to be my life from now on. And
then came Haley.
He was the outgoing, funny guy.
Her son, Drake, died in a car accident when he was 5. His donated organs saved lives. On the 5th anniversary of his death, Haley learned she could continue his legacy as a living donor herself.
When something like this happens, you always wonder why, I guess. And so, you want something good to come out of it.
Haley was a match for Ashley.
I guess the best word to describe it would actually be a miracle. It brought hope back into my life. I feel like it can have a future again.
Haley set off a chain of living donations. Stan decided to travel from California to give his kidney to another woman, Deanna.
It would be life-changing.
She's been on dialysis for 3 years and looks forward to spending more time with her grandchildren.
I get a little emotional about it, but it would be awesome. Just to be able to spend time, like I miss 4th of July, I miss the softball games at night and just different things that I would like to do.
Her husband, Robert, was not a match for her, so he donated his kidney to someone else, connecting 6 people for the first living donor kidney transplant chain at St. Luke's Hospital. Dr. Lee Cummings says living kidney transplants have higher success rates.
The more people can donate, it's the more patients we can help. Because unfortunately, many patients die every year waiting for a transplant who are not able to just get a kidney.
A selfless act inspired by this little superhero, causing a ripple effect in his memory.